Hey coaches! I was having a conversation today with a bunch of members of my team about what it was that we were sacrificing to be at Summit this year. And I asked them to also share with us maybe a fear or insecurity that they might have about going to Summit. And what was really interesting was as people started to share, I started to recognize the same things that I had felt and still feel before every Beachbody event. I actually wrote a blog post a couple of years ago, Septembers ago it looks like. And the very first line of that blog post is, I'm too fat, I'm too poor, I'm not educated, I'm a fraud, I don't fit in, and frankly, I'm just not good enough. And the blog post is all about me not wanting to go to leadership. As a guest, I was as a guest. I wasn't qualified to be there. This was years ago. And I recommend that you read it if this video is something that you'd like to learn a little bit more about. It's on creatingadestiny.com, and it's just a couple pages back. You can just search any of those keywords that I just read you, and it'll come right up. But as I was typing out my response and my fears and my issues with Summit or any Beachbody event, I realized that this is my fourth one that I'm going to. And typing this out would be crazy when I could just put it in video form and hopefully other people could see it. So again, read the blog post. But I just wanted to kind of go through some of the events that I've been to with Beachbody and how I felt about them before I got there, while I was there, and coming home. So the very first event I ever went to with Beachbody, I've been a coach for just a few weeks. It was a Tony Horton workout, and it was when I maybe P90X2. No, that wouldn't have been it. I don't know why he was here. It doesn't matter. And I remember thinking, oh my God. For those of you guys who don't know, I was still very overweight when I started coaching. I'm not in shape enough for this. This is going to be really embarrassing. I don't belong here. Why am I going? And I remember even just trying to find the right outfit that would make sense. And I was really, really nervous about going. And, during the workout there, I couldn't do any of the crazy stuff. He does a thing where you, the side twist thingies, the Mason twist. And he did, a contest of who could do them for a certain amount of time. And I definitely couldn't at all. It was, I wasn't even on my radar as my ability. Stood in line to get our books autographed when he wrote his book, Bring It. And I didn't know what to say. I pretty much just stood there when I met him, which was super embarrassing. And then on the way home, it was okay, that was cool. I got to meet him. I was putting pictures on Facebook, and I was thinking, God, is anyone even going to take this seriously? I have a picture with this trainer guy, but I'm still so heavy. That was really weird. And that was I was really, really new as a coach. And then 5 months later was Summit. I was up in LA, and I remember I was so broke. I was dead broke. Every penny I had made in the business so far had gone back into the business and then some. I was not making any money at all. And I had run out of vacation time at work already because the way to cruise, I don't know, you can't use it right away or something. I don't remember. I don't really understand how that worked, but I didn't have any vacation time at work. So if I went to Summit, I was not going to get paid. I didn't know anybody there. For those of you guys who know, my upline doesn't really work the business. She's actually just starting to get into it now. So the only person I knew was her and a few of her coaches that I worked out with at the gym. I didn't know anybody, no team, nothing. And I stayed in a room with 5 people, and I was really freaked out about going. Freaked out about being with people I didn't know. Do I have the right clothes? Am I going to be able to make it through the workouts? Not having the money was a big issue. Not fitting in, not feeling like I belonged. When you work at home, you're so separate from everyone that until you actually get to an event and really put some real FaceTime in with someone, it's scary. You don't really know how that's going to go. A Skype session, a Zoom session, we feel like we know each other, but until you get there, it's just not the same. So I didn't know anybody. Again, no money. I was so freaked out that I wouldn't fit in, and then I remember being there and like these top coaches are walking by and they're like so put together looking, and what is that about? And everyone's really fit, not everyone, but those top coaches that would walk by, right? And I just didn't. I was just so continuously intimidated the whole time. I was trying to absorb as much as I could, as much information as I could, but I was like really nervous. And what was crazy is by the end, it it's like if you guys have ever gone to college, the campus seems really big when you start going there. By the end of your time there, it seems really small. It almost felt like Summit got really small. By the end, I had met a bunch of people. I had met a bunch of people from San Diego and a couple of the top coaches that I didn't like, they lived over here. And I didn't realize that. I got to like eat with them. I got pictures with Tony Horton. I got to talk to Charlene. I actually talked to every trainer at that event and got pictures with all of them. And it was a really, really, really cool experience to just be part of it, to start to feel like maybe this could be my home. Maybe this could be my family. Maybe this is where I belong. Maybe this is why I never felt like I fit in my whole life. I just needed to find the right place. So that was really cool coming out of it. But I remember like I almost canceled a bunch of times. I was coming up with excuses, and all of a sudden I had work I had to do, and I almost like made money worse, I think, on purpose, like to try to get out of going. It was really crazy. So I almost canceled a bunch of times. The only reason I didn't actually cancel going was because those other people I was sharing a room with were just as broke as I was. And we were counting on there being 5 of us to make sure, we could afford it. And like we were freaking out about parking. The parking at the hotel was so expensive that we like dropped our stuff off and like drove around LA like looking for a place to park the car. It was crazy. It was crazy. So anyway, not the point. But that was my first summit, and I didn't go to another Beachbody event besides the Super Saturday until the Success Club trip the next year in Atlantis. And that was, I got a little bit less nervous about that trip because I'd earned my way there, but I still didn't know anybody. And it was just like me and Snow like hanging out. Like we were not engaged yet. We actually got engaged on that trip. So we just kind of made plans with just us, and we really didn't plan to be with anybody. And I remember like sitting at these tables with these other people who had made Success Club, and the trip was really small. There was like 108 people there, or something like that. It's really small. And like I remember Monica Ward sat with me, and she's a 15-star right now, and like she's in the Millionaires Club and all that, founding coach. And she was like, "Go, come like to have drinks with us. We're gonna go dancing." And I had like no idea how to act. I was so awkward. I can't believe we're still friends. So awkward. It was so weird. It's because I didn't feel like I fit in. Like I was thinner by then because I had all that time, right? But I still didn't feel like personally I fit in. I wasn't professional enough. I wasn't polished. I didn't have a team. There was nobody at that Success Club trip with me. I didn't have a single coach there. So it was like not like I've been doing so great. I hadn't accomplished what I thought was anything worth anything. So I spent a lot of time like alone with Snow, like just hiding out, doing our own thing on that trip, which is crazy because some of my our friendship is like really rooted in some of those experiences, and we're really good friends now. But regardless, so the next summit came, and I had to go without Snow again, and I was not excited about that at all. I'm pretty sure I was a diamond coach still at that point. I had a little bit of a claim to fame being the challenge pack sales girl or whatever, but it was definitely not what what I expected. I don't know. I was still super nervous. Like that was a huge event. There were so many more people coming, and all these different speakers, and I felt like I've been working so long in the business and hadn't done anything. Like I wasn't speaking. I didn't have anybody coming with me. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me that this was, I don't know, it just seemed it just seemed like I was still trying to be a coach, but I hadn't really done anything yet. That's how it felt to me. I felt like still like I was just being a fraud at that point. And I I definitely shared a room with some people, and it's so funny because at this moment I couldn't tell you who they were. Oh, I know who it was. Oh, I did have some coaches there. That's right. I had a couple of coaches. They were staying in the room. So there were like 3 or 4 of us. We all still shared a room. God, that was back in the early days. Um, but I felt like, yeah, I was a diamond coach. That was it. I felt like I hadn't done anything yet in the business. I didn't deserve to be there still. I felt like, God, am I really gonna spend more money on another summit? Like, what do I have to show for the last one? And that's just my shitty attitude about life. Like, I had a lot to show for it. I was so busy comparing myself to everyone else that I didn't understand. Like, I didn't take the time to be grateful and really appreciate everything I had accomplished, right? So that was just me having a bad attitude. I wouldn't look at things like that, I guess, these days, but I definitely did then. We spent a lot of the trip, honestly, like drinking and not really super engaged because I didn't want to. I don't know. I still didn't have a place where I really fit. I didn't want to just wait in long lines to get pictures with trainers. Like I don't know. I didn't have a huge thing, and the only reason I really ended up going to that summit is because I felt like I had to because I wanted to make it my full time job, and I plan to leave my full time job the next month. And I felt like if I'm going to be professional, I have to be here. So I went, rallied the team, got a few people. It was cool. We had a fun time. Um, Ended up learning a lot, coming back super inspired. Didn't expect it. I remember being inspired by the $100,000 winners. I remember being inspired by people on a stage, the elite coaches, top 10. And I was like, I want on that stage. Like, I'm sick of being here at Summit, not feeling successful, not feeling like I fit in, not feeling like I belong here. I'm sick of still feeling like a fraud. I'm sick of still feeling like I'm too fat. Like, all the things. I'm done. I'm like so sick of this. I want on that stage. So um, I came back from Summit and I got myself an accountability partner. I started working with someone at corporate who noticed that I did have like some elite points, and I actually got to 2-star that fall. But when leadership came around, I was not a 2-star. I was diamond at leadership still, and I remember thinking, me at leadership, like, are you serious? I don't even I'm like barely a diamond sometimes. Like, I never dropped rank, but it always was like a little bit of a worry. And I hadn't accomplished much. I didn't feel like I was making any money. I spent the whole summer building training and doing all of this work, and like nothing was coming together. I did end up leaving my job, but I felt like I was still so broke relatively. And then I felt like I didn't have anything to contribute. Like, why would I get to go to leadership? Like, I hadn't done anything to earn that. Um, but it was really, really important to me that I be there because I felt like I needed to be there in order to move forward. And I didn't know what that feeling was. So I faced that and I went anyway. That's what the blog post was about, was that whole thing of like, I don't belong here. These people are rich or smart or pretty or thin or whatever. And I'm not any of those things. And how, I don't fit. It's going to be awkward and weird. But I went, and leadership was amazing. And because I was someone's guest, I actually didn't get to stay at the hotel. And I like walked back and forth every day to all the events. And I made so many incredible friends and so many memories. And I really believe that event actually really launched the real leadership side of what I do now, which I think is really, it's cool that I can pinpoint that. So fast forward to the next, success trip. Went to Disney World. There was a lot of tension on my team at the time. And I wasn't feeling like a great leader. I was doing a lot of trying to make people happy that were never going to be made happy. And just constantly doubting myself. and an amazing time. Amazing time. The Success Club trips are always freaking amazing. Like, it was incredible. I absolutely loved it. But leading up to it, I was really, really anxious because I felt like I was supposed to be being this leader, this coach, because all these people were going to come with me because I'd earned the trip so many times. I brought a bunch of my team, but I felt like I wasn't that person yet, and I didn't really like want to lead them or know how to lead them, or I didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing. I just like wanted to hang out, and I felt like I was being pushed into this role I didn't understand, and I didn't know how I was going to do anything different than they were doing. I just didn't get it. It just didn't fit. So confused. And it ended up being the most incredible time. I absolutely can't get over how much I loved that trip. But going into after I came back from that trip, I gained a lot of weight because I did the reset right before we left, and I don't handle restrictive diets very well. So I gained a lot of weight from Disney to Summit, and I was so embarrassed because everybody was like getting hot for Summit, and I was just like getting fat. It was so embarrassing. I could not believe that I was actually going to make my way onto the stage like that much heavier. It was so, I just remember being so mortified that like I didn't deserve to be on the stage because I was just a fraud again. Like, it's not even real. Like, look, I can't even keep my own weight under control. Like, how embarrassing. And I remember like being so fussed with what I was going to wear when I walked across the stage, and being so nervous, and not wanting anything to go wrong, and wanting my team dinner to go perfectly. I did a team dinner, and I wanted to pay for it, but I didn't have the money to do it, but I wanted to. I really wanted to pay so I could like do something for them. And then I was trying to fit it around the schedule, and I remember just not. I didn't get. And then I still got so much like flack for not spending enough time with them, and I just felt like I was just like epically failing left and right, left and right. And like 4 days before Summit, as it was like coming all together, I just almost just said, no, I'm out. I can't go. I can't go. I won't go. Like, I can't go be this person. I can't be all these people on my team for the first time after having gained weight. I can't get on the stage and claim my Success Club All Star and my elite status, like looking like this and feeling like this. And it was just terrible. Like, I didn't want to go to Summit at all, at all. And I went for my team, which is honestly the only thing that keeps me on track. It's why I do everything. It's why I lost that weight. It's why everything. Like, it's always for my team. Which is why I think coaching is the best thing you can do for your life, because you'll be held more accountable than you can imagine. Um, and so that was last year. And what was really interesting is that last year when I came back from Summit, I actually gained more weight. And I didn't find out until almost November that it was medical, and I actually needed to address it. And I wasn't able to get a clear diagnosis or a plan or anything until like a couple of months ago. And I cannot even express to you guys like the sheer devastation that I felt realizing like I finally made it. I made it to top 10, and I'm still like 20 pounds heavier than my very first Summit, or my second Summit. Like, all of those images I had in my head of what this trip would be like, it's not gonna be. It's just not how it's gonna look. I was gonna be a 15 star by now. I was gonna be 150 pounds. I was gonna have lots of money, and I was gonna be able to spoil the team so well, so well. And where am I at? Yeah, I'm definitely 20 pounds heavier than the lowest weight I've been as an adult. 20 pounds heavier than that. 7 star right now, not even close to 15. Having one of the lowest pay months we've ever had. And I'm still trying to make things as special as I can for the coaches that are coming. So much of me doesn't want to go to Summit because it was supposed to be better than this. And then with everything going on in my health, like I can't eat anything. I can't drink anything. Like I have such a restricted situation that I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to pull this off during the week. I'm not supposed to be around smoke. I'm not supposed to be up late. I'm not supposed to be not sleeping. I can't work out. Like the only reason I am going is because I would never let my team down like that. It's the same reason I went last year. It's the same reason I went the year before. It's the same reason I went the first year. I am scared, disappointed, frustrated, not in a place that it makes sense for me in my head to be going. But that is what being a coach is about. What you do as a coach is you reach out to the people around you and you say, hey, this is where I'm going. You should come with me. And then when they come with you, they become your biggest support. And they keep you accountable. And they're the reason I'm not wallowing in the medical stuff. I'm handling it. There's a reason why I lost 20 of the 35 pounds I gained last year, right? They're gone. And that's them. That's my team. I'm going to spoil my diamonds every which way that I can. And I'm going to spend as much time as I can with whoever I can on my team and make some human connections when I can, around the schedule that they give us, top 10 elite stuff. And I'm going to do it with probably a little bit of insecurity in the back of my mind about what they're thinking about how much I weigh or what I look like or that look I get when I still tell people I'm a fitness consultant and they're like, are you sure? But I know that's all my own stuff. I know that because I felt it at every single event. But yet at no event has it ever come up. Has it ever been true? It's never held me back. I've still been completely loved and adored, and I've made amazing friends. I've learned amazing things at every event. I always come back happy and excited and motivated. Even if sometimes the motivation is I want to be better for next time. I don't want to feel that way again. So, I just want you guys to know that whatever you're feeling is 100% okay. It's normal. It's acceptable. The only thing that is not acceptable is choosing to let any of those feelings rule your life. If you're watching this and you're not going to Summit because of any of these events or any of these feelings, that is not acceptable. You can't grow. You can't be the person that you're meant to be. You can't uncover the amazing future that you have ahead of you if you don't face these fears and go anyway. Does it get easier? Of course it gets easier. Of course it does. I mean, I'm naturally not a very social person, so for me, it's sort of, there's all the social anxiety, but it gets easier. This summit's easier than the first one, no doubt. It's easier than last year. And you know what? I won't be feeling any of this once I get there. I will have a few of those little insecurities, like I said, back of my mind. But I'll just be happy I'm there. I'll be happy to be hugging my team. My best friend is going to be there. My fiance is going to be there. I get to share with anybody who will listen, like my, whatever I can, tips to success, keys to success, anything. And I get to be completely surrounded by people who get me, who have these feelings, who want more, who are trying to better their life, who are on a journey. I get to basically be with a huge extended family for a week. Like, what's not to love about that? So I realize this is the most rambling video I've ever made in my life, and I have no idea if anyone is even watching it still, if they just gave up. But those are my thoughts. That was my answer to um, my fears and insecurities about Beachbody events and going to summit. Thank you guys. Have a good night.